guys know the presidents, the president of the United States? How about the vice presidents of the United States? No one talks about them. Al Gore gets made fun of for narrowly losing an election by 537 votes. And Dan Quayle can't even spell potato. That's why today I decided to do a vice president's iceberg. There's only one that I could find in Google. It was from Reddit. And let's go. The oldest ever vice president was Alvin Barkley, who was 71 at inauguration. Served with President Truman from 1949 to 1953. John Tyler had the shortest vice presidential term out of any vice president, lasting for a month. He succeeded after William Henry Harrison died. What explanation am I supposed to give? It's true. The 25th Amendment officially establishes that once the president dies, the president and vice president both have to be replaced to the end. The only two vice presidents that were resigned were John Calhoun and Spiro Agnew. The first female vice president is actually the current vice president as of this recording, Kamala Harris, who serves under Joe Biden currently. The Naval Observatory is the official home of the vice president. It was built in 1893. The first official vice president to permanently move in there during his tenure was Walter Mondale. Darth Vader, as a joke, is often compared to Vice President Dick Cheney. It's just funny, to be honest. Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton on July 11, 1804, and killed Alexander Hamilton. We're now going on to the second tier. The longest ever lived vice president was John Nance Garner, who served as vice president from 1933 to 1941. He lived to 98 from 1868 to 1967. The first non-white vice president was not Kamala Harris. It's actually Charles Curtis, who served under Herbert Hoover. Charles Curtis officially identified as a Native American. Marlon Brando was the pet bunny of Vice President Mike Pence. Unfortunately, Marlon Brando officially died in 2022. Hell, the bunny even has a Wikipedia article. The youngest ever vice president was John C. Breckinridge. He was 36, he served under James Buchanan, and even ran for president and got second place. The Dan Quayle potato incident was when Dan Quayle was at a spelling bee in New Jersey and misspelled the word potato. Roll the clip.
Spell that again. And add one little bit on the end. Just think of potato. How's it? So, you write phonetically. What else? There you go.
The Dick Cheney hunting incident was in 2006, where Dick Cheney, quote, accidentally shot his friend in the face, and shockingly the guy lived. William R. King could have been gay. There are theories about him having an affair with James Buchanan, who eventually became president after he died. The only two unelected VPs were Gerald Ford, who took Spiro Agnew's spot after he resigned, and Nelson Rockefeller, who was replaced because of the 25th Amendment. The only four presidents to not have a VP all ascended to the office of presidency after their boss died or died. The four people were 1. John Tyler, Millard Fillmore, Andrew Johnson, and Chester Arthur. That's it, there you go, that's the list. His Excellency was a common nickname given to John Tyler because he elevated to the presidency after William Henry Harrison's death in 1841. We are going to the third tier now. Nelson Rockefeller died of a heart attack in 1977. I might be asking, what is so special about wealth? There are a bunch of different stories, like he collapsed on desk, he collapsed in a nightclub, all that jazz. There's a bunch of rumors. I'd have to make another video about it. The first ever vice president to die in office was George Clinton, who died in 1812. Richard Mentor Johnson's wife was an African American woman. When he was running for vice president in 1836, he was not very popular with Southerners. The reason John C. Breckinridge had an explosion from the Senate is because when the Kentucky Senate wanted to save the Union, he defended the Southern cause, and he later became a general for the Confederacy. Gerrymandering is basically changing the boundaries of an electoral place in favor of one party or class, named after Elbridge Gerry. Yeah, I think that's illegal. When Andrew Johnson was sworn in as the new vice president, he was drunk during his inaugural address. Tecumseh, a Native American general who defended Native American land, was killed by Richard Mentor Johnson, who was a colonel at the time, fighting at the Battle of the Thames. Hybrid cord was technically invented by Donald F. Jones and was developed on introduced to a trial basis to Henry Wallace in the 1920s, and he made a new hybrid in 1921. The only ever vice president to take the oath of office on not American soil was William R. King, who took the oath of office in Cuba. Now we're going to tier 4. Al Gore's daughter, Kristen Gore, is currently married to Damia Kulash, who is the lead singer of OK Go. That's actually pretty cool information. Charles Dawes wrote the song All in the Game. Here's a listen.
Many a tear has to fall, but it's all in the game. All in the wonderful game.
Vice President Garrett Hobart was named the assistant president due to his consistent attendance to the U.S. Senate. In 1893, when a woman named Mariette Reiner ran for the county judge against John Nance Garner, they married 2 years later in 1895 in Texas, and they had one child. Kamala Harris was born on October 20th, 1964, while Herbert Hoover died on October 20th, 1964. Hannibal Hamlin died on July 4th, 1891. Wow, a vice president who died on Independence Day. That's pretty surprising. The only VP to get an Oscar/Grammy is Al Gore. He earned it in 2007. The youngest lived vice president of the United States was Daniel D. Tompkins, who died at the age of 50. Now we're officially at tier 5. I could not find any information on William R. King nearly dueling Henry Clay. Sorry, I couldn't find any info on it. I do not think Henry Wilson would be as forgettable if he did not change his birth name. And Jeremiah Jones Colbath. Yes, that was his birth name. Levi Morton was born on May 16th, 1824, and died on May 16th, 1920. That's a weird coincidence, eh? William Wheeler went on a fishing trip with Hayes' wife, Lucy. Since Wheeler was a widower, Hayes felt bad. I'm talking about Lucy Hayes, not the president. They went on a fishing trip. On the first day, Kyle launched trout, which weighed 13 pounds. He said it was a good time. And that's about it for this video. I didn't expect this to be 10 minutes. But anyways, goodbye.